on Struminski.
Good evening and welcome to Struminski. Tonight, I guess we can call this part 2 of a look at the world of radio. But more specifically, we're going to be looking at the world of music, and we have two special guests in studio tonight. You've heard their voices, and you've been listening to them day after day on AM 1320 WARA, and I have to tell you, gentlemen, that people have been waiting for this moment. And allow me to introduce to you, or maybe if we let them talk, you can close your eyes and say, I know that voice.
Including us closing our eyes?
No, you can't close your eyes. And if you haven't guessed already from the silence, we welcome into our studio tonight Larry Tocci. Larry, welcome to Struminski.
Thank you, Ron. How you doing?
You're going to fall. You're going to doze off on us because, of course, Larry is. Do you like to be called the morning man?
The morning man. Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
That's what it's called.
Industry-wide.
In the biz.
In the biz.
In the biz, Ron.
Yeah.
Morning man.
Morning man. The morning drive man.
Yes.
Man of darkness.
That's right. Literally. 3:30 comes quick.
We're going to talk a little about that too. And to Larry Tocci's right.
Isn't he cute tonight?
Isn't that sweet?
He didn't look this good for his wedding.
Hey, I don't know. I haven't talked to his wife about that, but maybe we will. Larry Tocci's right is the voice you hear on AM 1320 every afternoon. Beginning at what, 3 o'clock? After Mr. Nice goes off the air?
After Mr. Nice, it's yours truly.
After Mr. Nice goes off the air, you get all of your favorite music from Don Michaels. Don, welcome to Struminski.
Thank you very much, Ron.
Do you know he had jeans on before the show? And I came in walking like this. I said, I'm safe, I'm safe. Hits the ladies' room and comes out looking like this.
You know, I have been for a long time wanting to talk, and we have never done this, even though I don't see too much of Larry around the radio studio because he's here in the morning. And when he is here during my radio show, he's usually in production because you do a good deal of the production for WARA, and we haven't had a chance ever to talk about this topic as far as I know.
Really?
And I've seen much more of Don, but we have never talked about the world of music, and more particularly some of the things that are happening in music. And we're going to get into those. We're going to be inviting your calls and comments at 222-2600, 222-2320. And if you're on radio side down in Rhode Island, our toll-free line is available to you at 399-8015. For those of you who may not know Larry Tocci and Don Michaels, let's get to know them a little better. Where are you from, Larry? When you go off on vacation, you're always talking about going to New York, New Jersey.
That's right.
But that's two places.
Well, really from New York. Just about, say, about an hour north of the city. When I say New Jersey, I'm referring to my in-laws. That's where they're from. Well, that's not where they're from. That's where they've moved to.
Are they still there? I understand. Somebody told me you sold them on your show.
No,
at least your mother-in-law.
I just gave my mother-in-law away.
Oh, you gave her away?
Yeah, I gave her away.
They must have gone over big with the wife.
No.
So you are from New York?
Yes, I
grew up, schooled in New York?
New York, yes. Not the city, but like I said, about an hour north of the city.
An hour north. There was always a great pride. Do you feel that when people say, where are you from, you say, I'm from New York, like that's something special?
I say, I'm from New York.
Yeah, how do you say it? I'm from New York.
New York.
Do you feel that that's something special when you say that?
Is.
I mean, to other people,
but
when
it's
they say,
funny, when you
he's
say,
from New York.
I'm from the city? No, there's a whole state there. Did you ever look at a map?
Wait a minute.
There's a whole state there.
I have run into a lot of people from New York, but when they say I'm from New York, they want you to believe they're from the big city.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was close enough. I like to say it this way. I was close enough to the city to get all the culture and to enjoy the best of what it had to offer, but far enough away to avoid the crime and the grime.
That's what people in Norton say about Attleboro. So you spent all of your years in New York?
Yeah, until I got into radio.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
Let's not.
Getting into radio. Where did you start your radio career? How'd you prepare for it?
Ted Knight career. Typical Ted Knight career. Small little station in Vermont.
Vermont?
Yeah.
You mean when you left your school? Did you prepare for it through schooling?
Just went through a broadcasting school. I was a technician prior to that, servicing electronic equipment for a couple of years. Went to a vocational school for that after high school.
So you were a technician and not an announcer then, initially?
Right. And I got a little bored. After a while, it was the same thing. Just, I'd take a set off, and I'd be another set on the bench. I'd take a set off, be another set on the bench. So I heard some guy on the radio, and he sounded like him. I said, I can do that if he can do that.
You know how many people say that? No, they say they do. They say
Yeah,
that.
they say that.
What's so hard about that?
Well, I listened to him, and then I passed an audition at a broadcasting school. And I went to the broadcasting school because they had a high placement service. They placed most of their students in broadcasting positions or jobs. And I went to this little tiny radio station where I did everything.
Had an opportunity to really
And I did the
become
overnight
versatile.
shift. I went from like 11 p.m. to like 8 a.m. and did everything in between on both the AM and FM. And from there I went to and through other radio stations, and my last stop here for the last 2 years has been WARA.
Is the morning man in radio, is that the pinnacle? I mean, you know, when you talk about the morning man on a radio station, you talk about the Salty Brines and the Dave Maynards and all of it. That seems to be the choice and very important slot in radio.
Well, it is, because it's the time when people are getting up and they want that information, they want that humor, the service, whatever your station is formatted to give them, aside from the basic necessities, the news, sports, and weather, that they have grown to need, to want, and to enjoy. At other radio stations, it could be the PM drive jock or personality, or the night jock at a hot top 40
You're
station.
using the word jock, and yet I've been told we don't like to be called disc jockeys
disc
anymore.
jockeys.
We don't want to be called disc jockeys.
Jock's okay. Jock is
okay.
Jock's is 80. No, it is.
That's
Jock.
80.
Yeah, it makes it sound like, you know, you're a big time guy.
Is that so?
But anyway.
But not disc jockey.
No, disc jockey's old terminology from the 50s, 60s. Air personalities. Because people have become much more of a personality. They're not just a voice. They don't read a cue card and say, here is the time, here's the temperature. They express themselves. They become as human as possible behind this. People always say, how do you talk into a stick all day? Well, you just imagine that hopefully there are people listening at the other end of that stick, and it's not just a stick you're talking to.
You don't think about all the people that are listening, do you?
No, you never do.
You're in there, you're isolated. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, and you're kind of by yourself. It's kind of lonesome.
Yeah, but knowing that there's someone listening, you don't feel so lonesome. But like I was saying, though, excuse me, sometimes at a real strong top 40, fast, what is termed current hit radio station, top 40 radio, a lot of music, pumping a lot of music. I worked at a station like that once. The nighttime jock, the 8 to midnight or 7 to midnight, 7 to 10 jock, is like really popular, or the most popular, one of the most popular on the shift, because everybody's vying for that time slot because they're combating against primetime TV, and the station's pumping in lots of money for promotions and solid music and audience participation. So it depends really on the station, its format, and the market it's in. But generally speaking, the morning man
Does the radio station build its format though around its personalities, or vice versa? I mean, when Larry Tocci came to WARA, there must have been some things that whoever hired you saw in you that they wanted to build into the station.
Right.
So they had a preconception of what they were looking for, I assume.
I think it's 50-50. You walk in with your talent, and you format yourself to work within a format. So you're working within a format, and you're using your own talents to make that format work. So it's a 50-50.
It's a little of this and a little of that. Let's turn to Don Michaels, get to meet him. He does the afternoon drive.
What's this?
PM.
Knights of Columbus?
Yes.
PM
What
drive.
a nice guy.
He's a nice guy.
Borrowed that from his father.
Did he?
Nah, you can't.
They can't see that on
He's not in the
television
Knights.
tonight.
He's in the ladies' only.
Don, where are you? You're from Providence?
Providence.
Born and bred?
Born and bred,
People
27
don't-
years.
People don't look at somebody when they say they're from Providence like they do with somebody from New York.
That's for
I'm
sure.
always looking for a weapon when I say New York.
Whereabouts Providence? What,
Right in the Olneyville Civil Lake section of
The
Providence.
Olneyville section?
The Olneyville Civil Lake section. It's the west end of the city, if you want to call it the west end. Been there for 27 years, and been into radio since 77.
Since 77.
1977.
You haven't done anything else in your whole life.
Well, hey, I did a lot of music. I also played a saxophone, drums, and accordion. Did that in high school, this and that.
I've never heard you play. Did you know that?
I
You had to come
Amazing.
here to
You're
find that
amazing,
out
huh?
about Michael.
definitely tomorrow morning on the radio show. We got to
Oh, there
call
we
him
go.
live and have him do it.
You have your saxophone at home?
Oh, yes.
Tachi calls you tomorrow morning on the. You're going to get the saxophone out and play him
Played in
something?
about 2 years, so
Call him at 5:30.
Sax, he plays drums. Let's get him to do drums at 5 o'clock. in the morning.
If I had known that, we
went
would
on the
have.
speaker of the phone.
Had I known that, we would have had your drums in here
Oh,
tonight
yeah.
for a demonstration.
Well, they weren't my drums, they were my cousin's drums.
Oh, okay.
So-
But you play drums anyway.
Yeah.
How'd you get interested in radio now?
In In high school, last year of high school at LaSalle Academy in Providence, I, two friends of mine and myself wanted to start a radio station at the high school. No funds, no money, no nothing, so we put it aside. We always wanted to do something in radio. It ended up, we had to go up to college and do it. We started at the college radio station, WKBC, which was at the Rhode Island Junior College in Warwick. And we started right from there. We started doing production, commercials, and your own shows. We did our own shows, an hour shifts during each free period, and it started right from there. It was really fun.
All right, listen, we're going to take a short break. We're going to be back with more of Larry Tocci and Don Michaels. Find out a little more about Don when we get back, and then start talking a little music tonight. We'll be right back. Sound.